Hi there, welcome to Subpar Stitches. My name is Hillary and this is my Flosstube channel. So it has been another couple weeks since my last update and I feel like I have like a lot but also nothing at all to show you. Does anybody else feel like that? I feel like every single time I come to post, I'm like, I have so much yet nothing. And I think it's because I actually finished a few of the things that I was working on. So I feel like if I don't have like whips to show you, like a bunch of whips, I feel like I've done nothing, but in reality I've done everything, you know? So I'll have all of my normal, finishes, whips, haul, all that to show you. But if you stick around until the plans section, I do have a new SAL to announce that will be starting on Monday, but anybody can join at any time. I'm co-hosting this with Bridges Get Stitches. So if you want more information on that, stick around because I'm really excited. It's my first time ever like doing anything like this, hosting anything in like the cross stitch realm. So I hope that many of you join, even if it's just a start along and not like a full stitch along. I guess we'll get there when we get there. So I guess let's just start with finished objects, my FOs. I had 3. I finished my last one last night and I have not stuck to like any of the plans I made for myself this past couple of weeks because I really want to kick my whips down. Not like, I don't feel like there's any kind of magic number to have as far as whips go. It's just like sometimes I feel like my brain doesn't have enough room for all the whips that I have. So I want to kind of minimize some of my smaller projects that I can kind of boot out really quickly. And that's kind of what I did. I finished 3 smalls. Actually, one's a start and finish. So technically this was never really a whip to begin with. But it does go hand in hand with something I finished last time. And that is the Nostalgic Ouija Planchette. And this goes with the board that I showed you guys last time. And this is a witchy stitcher pattern that I think I got on the Patreon. There are, I believe, 6 different iterations of this. They all have like different kind of Lisa Frank inspired motifs. So I chose the aliens because I'm a big alien freak. Love the X-Files, things like that. The only thing left to do for this, to like FFO it, I need a whip stitch around the edge. I started it, but I pulled it all out because I was like, this doesn't look very good. So I need to redo it and like pay more attention. Cutting out the middle part here was a pain in my ass. I just gotta say. That was a pain. Luckily I have like a X-Acto knife type thing, but it was still annoying. And then I will put some felt on the back to cover that up. And I will FFO the mat as well, like the board itself. And then I'll have a complete set. How cute. This, I literally came home from work. Look, I can see you. Look at that. I'm looking through it. I came home from work like Tuesday last week. Maybe it was Monday. I don't remember. It was one of the days that happened last week. And I came home and I was like, I'm just going to start that. It's stitched on a 14 count clear plastic canvas. I was like, let me just get it started. I want to get it out of the way. It's only like 1,000 stitches. And I sat and I stitched the whole thing in one go. Oh man. Nothing else got done that day. That's for sure. But yeah, I was glad to get this done because I was worried I was going to put it off. And then I would, fully finish the other piece and then it wouldn't be done. So very easy. Like I said, there's 5 other versions of it. Who knows if I'll ever stitch those? I don't know, but I really wanted to stitch the alien one, so I got that. The next thing I finished was Mothman Believes in You. I started this one sometime probably later last year, and it was like a car project right up until it wasn't. It was very easy right up until the border. This is Mothman Believes in You. Here is, if you're on my Instagram, you already saw it. My Instagram is the same as my name here, I think. I'll always have it linked down below. But this is a stitch sprout pattern. I swapped the DMC for sulky threads and I really like them. The coverage is really good. 1 strand over 1 square on this self-dyed Ada. And here it is all finished. So this, like I said, it was a car project until it wasn't, because I did like the outline of this, the Mothman, and then I did all like the fill-in in the car. But I don't know why my brain could not handle doing the border, like the side borders. The straight across one I could, but for some reason, like stitching something that's supposed to be sideways oriented, which is like this side border, But still like stitching straight across, my brain just like was like, no, we're not. So the two side borders took me forever, but the top and bottom border was fine because I was like doing a straight across, and then the lettering was really easy. But yeah, this is meant to be a gift for somebody that I'm gonna just get a little frame. And this summer I'm going to something called Polish and Beauty Expo, which I go to every summer. It's in Tinley Park in Illinois. It's just a nail polish expo, and I go and I like buy nail polish and, you know, meet up with people who are my fans on my nail polish channel and some of my friends that I've made as well. And I have been talking to a friend of mine for quite a while, but we have never met in person, and we kind of bonded over cryptids. So I'm going to put this in a little frame and give this to her when I see her. One thing about the sulky conversion is they say that, I don't know who they are, but they say that one strand is the equivalent of 2 strands of DMC. I think it's probably a little bit more, or like the composition of the thread is a little bit different because it does feel stiffer, like a little bit thicker in the fabric. And now that might also just be because this is hand-dyed Aida. I just used a purple Rit dye. And when you dye stuff, I think it's pretty common for there to be some shrinkage of the fabric. So this was an 18 count. It's probably like just a little bit smaller than that now. But yeah, it's really cute. And I can't remember if I said this, but it is a stitch sprout pattern. And last but not least for my finishes, I put the finishing touches on this last night. And let me tell you, this was rough. Okay, so this is a Mill Hill kit. This is one of my Santas that they release 3 a year. And my goal, my absolute desire is to stitch all of them and turn them into ornaments. This is I believe this is a pine tree Santa, and here's where it was last time. And like I said, I finished it. Well, it's not fully finished, so it still needs to be cut out and turned into the ornament, but I'll kind of save some up and do it. But here is the finished product. I am actually so happy with this, even though it caused me so much stress. And here's why. So first of all, if you're not familiar with Mill Hill kits, they're like 3-stranded, which means you can't loop start, which is annoying. But I can handle that. I'm a tough girl. I'm a big girl. I can do that. But what happened was I finished all the stitching and I went to put in the French knots for the rabbit's eyes, which please look at how consistent those are. That's amazing. But then I realized it said you were only supposed to use 1 strand, but I was like, I did too good of a job. I'm not cutting those out and doing it again. So they got big eyes. I don't care. It's fine. And then I was putting in the white beads and I knocked over my container of beads and beads went everywhere. And we don't really have like a high pile carpet, but these beads are small, so they just sunk right down in. So I'm like trying to scoop as many as I can out of the carpet, hoping that I'm gonna have enough. And then like they fell in between the couch cushion and the side of the couch, but our couch is like weird and you can't remove the cushions. So those were gone forever. But I did end up having more than enough of the white beads, so lucky for me. And then the garland, that was pretty easy. I like that. I like the kind of dimension and texture it adds. That's really fun. And the thing I was having issue with the smaller beads is the green beads. Like the green beads seemed to be a little bit inconsistent with their hole size. So my beading needle kept getting stuck only in the green beads. And because this is perforated paper, you can't like yank on it or else it'll rip the paper. And it's like, I've stitched it all. I don't want to ruin it. And so I was getting kind of stressed. And there was a few moments where I just took a pair of pliers when the bead got stuck on the needle and it wouldn't pull through and there was no hope. Just took a pair of pliers and I just cracked the bead, broke it. Bead shards went everywhere. I was like, all right, let's pick a different bead. So that was causing me agita. And then the beard, I was like, oh, the beard's going to be so easy. So the loops were really easy. And honestly, I think they turned out really cute. But then it was like, tie a little bitty bow for the mustache. And I was like, okay, it's just like tying your shoes. But you know what? I haven't done in like a year. is tie my shoes because I just keep them tied and slide in and out of them. So I like got there and then I was like, wait, how do you tie a bow? I like forgot. And I'm like, oh no. Like, so I'm like struggling to tie this silly little bow. And I felt really dumb, which made me more stressed out. So I was like, oh. But his beard does look good. I think it's great. And then like the amount of strands it told me to have for like this little tuft on his hat, I don't think I put like the mustache on or this correctly, because it was like they were like tie a little bow and then tack it on, and I'm like, I don't know what you mean. Do you mean glue it on? Like, what do you mean tack it on? Didn't really explain. So instead of tying a separate bow and then sticking it to it, I just brought the thread up between two loops and like tied it on directly. Same here. And so there was like way too many strands. So I don't know if you can see the strain it's putting on these holes, and like the amount of strands that came into his beard really made like a mess there. And like, yeah, I was all over the place with the beading, but it's done. And it caused me a little bit of stress with the beading portion, but I like putting beads on, so it's fun. But I was like, I'm not going to cut this out right now because I don't want to ruin it. So I'll get like a stack of these and then I'll cut them out. But there's like another one, like Holly Berry Santa. And then there's like another one in this one that I don't have. So I got to get the third. This one's from like $19.99. This kit is like $19.99. So ancient. I think at this point there's like 75 of these Santas. So it's going to take me a while to get them all. But that'd be kind of fun to have just like a Santa tree, a cross-stitch Santa tree. So those are all of my finished objects. No FFOs this time around because I go through a mood where I'm going to FFO a lot of stuff and then I don't do it for like months and months and months, it seems. So we'll get there when we get there. So I don't have any new starts because my only new start was, you know, start and finish a SAF. So I do have a small stack of whips here to share with you guys. So the first one, kind of like clockwork, is my lunchtime stitching. If you're new here, I stitch this project on my lunch. I kind of just started doing that this year. Like I had stitched on it before this year, but I started bringing it when I'm in office the 3 days a week, and I stitch on an hour a day, maybe a little bit less, 3 days a week. And that is my long dog sampler. This one's called Pavane for These Times. And this is stitched on I think it's like Sage Lugana 28 count. And this was my first like solid blackwork piece. This was one of my first bigger kind of pieces. And well, that didn't work out the way I wanted. I have stitched 3 pages across and then one down, and now I'm doing the next one down. So you can see, I think right about here was like the cutoff for that page. I got one of these bigger kind of half, I don't know if you call it like a Quaker motif or what, like they run all the way across the top and then they run across the bottom. And so I've gotten almost all of this first big one done. These are kind of denser, and then there's like most of one more that's gonna go here, and then there's some floral stuff. I've been finishing roughly 1 page a month since I started doing this on my lunch. I don't know if I'll finish this page in April, just because there's been a few slower days of stitching because there was like a few days where I didn't bring my lunch, so I went to go pick something up, and that takes some time. Or there was like a day where I was like, it was slow going, so I just didn't end up getting that much done. There's like been a couple days where I'm gonna be out of office on the day that I was supposed to be because I have like appointments and stuff. So it won't get as much love, but there's really no hard and fast goal. It's just stitch on this on my lunches until it is done. I don't think there's much to say about it beyond what I've already said, but I wanted to get this page done, and instead of going straight across again, I wanted to come down because, like I said, these are so dense. So I want to do like this, and then come over and do the middle, and then another dense page, and then like the last page, and then the last bottom corner. So yeah, we're getting there. On the 5th of 9 pages, so that's pretty good. That's good progress. Long dogs are pretty big, so, and I'm just stitching that in like some 310 that I got from the cone. I remember, I think the reason why I picked this is because I wanted to do like a monochromatic piece, but I didn't want to invest a lot in floss if I was like ending up hating the monochromatic style of stitching. But I ended up, I'm really enjoying it because it is a lot simpler. You don't have to worry about color changes. So next time I do a monochromatic piece, I'm gonna invest in like a more fun, like over dye type floss. The next thing I worked on was because of Michael from Uplift Stitches. He had asked me a couple times if I had worked on this, and I was like, no, not yet, I'm getting there. But he started this piece after me, then had to restart the piece because his project or his fabric was not big enough, and now he has wildly surpassed me. So I'm like, uh-oh, I better put some work in. And this is my Hobbit Stitch Your Own Adventure. I finished the first third, so it's like, well, I gotta add the back stitching, but we'll get there. So this is, what is it stitched on? I don't have the tag, so I will put it on the bottom of the screen. This is a free stitch along, and this is available on the Cunning Cross Stitch, right? Cunning Cross Stitch page. Everything I talk about will be linked down below, so if you are ever curious, you know, in chronological order, they're listed down below in the down bar. But this is a 28 count fabric, and this is like a very, very customizable pattern. So the way it works is first you stitch your hobbit hole, and then there's like chapters below that you can stitch. I have kind of gone back and forth on, do I just want to stitch the hobbit hole? Do I want to stitch the whole thing? I've decided I'm just going to stitch the hobbit hole because that was like the part that I really, really liked, and turn it into like a long kind of pillow, I think. And so like this tree was customizable. I chose the party tree that's got like these little like party lanterns. And then there's a few different versions of each section. So like this is stone. There's one that's like completely overgrown with like moss, which I think I did for my third one is what I'm choosing. There's like a bunch of different window designs. There's so much that you can customize that it does feel a little bit overwhelming if you're newer to stitching or you've never done anything like this before. I've never done something so customizable, so it has been a little bit more slow going just because I want to make sure that I don't mess it up. But I have already picked out like my whole design. So initially I thought I was going to stitch the whole thing, so I did buy like a fat half. So I really won't need like most of this for this project, but this is a really great color for like a sampler or something. Not that I stitch many samplers, but like if I want to, I've got basically half a yard of fabric to play with. I picked this because it looked kind of like parchment. I don't know if you can see the modeling, but to me it kind of reminded me of old paper, and it reminded me of like Bilbo writing, you know, his book. And so yeah, I'm going to start in on the middle portion soon. Maybe today, maybe not today. I don't know. I don't know what I want to stitch today. Because I'm woefully behind on a lot of stuff that I shouldn't be, but it's not like it really matters because they're all like, they're just goals, they're personal goals, but it's not like anybody's holding anything against me, you know? The next thing I worked on was one that Marjorie Maid would call a sad, sad start, and I don't think I showed this last time because I'm pretty sure I worked on it in the in-between time, between videos. This is Only Judy Can Judge Me, and I had like put very minimal stitches into it when I first started it, and then I got stressed out because as much as I like the way the pattern looks, like the outcome of the pattern, the design, the pattern itself was just hard for me to deal with. It's like a PDF, but it won't go into any of my like pattern things on like my phone, or like I have Pattern Keeper and I have Markup because I just felt like I needed both of them. But the symbols are hand drawn, and so I just feel like here's the symbols. They're all hand drawn, and you look at like these two are kind of similar. There's like a hollow triangle that's pointing down, a hollow triangle that's pointing up. We got a full triangle pointing up and down. It's just like, some of them are kind of similar. There are blends in this, which this is my first time working with blends, and it's not as difficult or anything as I thought it would be. I did a center start on this, which is not something I usually do. I am a top left starter, which I feel like doesn't seem that common to me. Like in my head, and I'm not saying that anybody else has to feel this way. Like I'm not saying this is a hard and fast rule, but like in my head, top left start is the only thing that makes sense to me. It's like a book, you know, it's just like, that's how you do it. You go top left to right and you just work across and go down. So many people I see either start in the middle or they start in the bottom. I'm pretty sure Phoebe Moon from Moonshine Stitchery, I think she stitches up rather, and like in like columns rather than in rows, which I think is probably pretty common. But like for me, I've always stitched in rows from left to right, and that's that. Like, and so to see other people stitch other ways, I can't wrap my head around it. Which is why this center start was just so unusual for me. I definitely did not iron this fabric, and it is crinkly as all get out. And what even is this fabric? 18 count Ivory Ada. I don't even remember why I bought this, but I found it in my stash and it worked. So you can start to see the very scary beginnings of Judge Judy's face. And when it's done, it will be hilarious, and maybe I'll make a weird little pillow out of it. This pattern reminds me of my grandma because she loves the drama. She always watches like Judge Judy, Judge Joe Brown, all of the judge shows. When I guess before I was born, she used to watch Jerry Springer, which, like, knowing my grandma, like, she kind of presents herself as very proper and, like, you know, not like that. So the fact that my grandma likes Jerry Springer cracks me up. But yeah, there's like a lot of browns and tans because, like, she's a person, she's got, you know, brown hair and light skin, and like, so there's like a lot of like kind of boring colors, I guess, to stitch. But the way I'm watching it come together, like here's my cool mess of floss back when I thought that these were a great idea. These like cards that you can put your floss on to drop it. Now I just like to stitch off of bobbins. That's my preferred thing, but I kitted this up like this. So, but yeah, a lot of very like more natural colors. All the like blues and reds are for the wording where it says only Judy can judge me. So yeah, hopefully you'll see some more progress on this soon, because I want to, this is one that I like I said, I put in like maybe 20 stitches and then I was like, all right, I'm done. And then when I sat down with it again, it was a lot easier. I had a lot better of a time. So maybe I'll work on this tonight. I'm going to say that about every project. I'm going to work on that tonight. I'm going to work on that tonight. Only so many hours in a day, Hillary. And then my last whip, which I actually lied to you at the beginning because I said that I had no new starts, but this is a new start. I was overcome with the urge to start the Wizard Biscornu. This is by Tiny Modernist, and I think it's my first Tiny Modernist pattern. I'm drawn to the Tiny Modernist style. It's very cutesy, and I really like that. I think they have like a whole series of Biscornus. So I bought this pattern, and I don't think it's a bad pattern, but I think that if you have bad eyes, which I don't, my eyes are perfect. I have 20/20 vision, I'm fine. But the symbols are very, very small. So just like be forewarned, like it's a pretty itty bitty symbol pattern. So I did make a working copy on some paper. But because the symbols are so small, it was hard to like copy well. So some of it kind of looks smudgy, but it's easy to work on. There's only like 8 colors or so. And I've never made a Biscornu, so I just thought this would be fun. I'm just using 18 count white Ada that I had on hand because I buy it from Walmart because it's like $2, and then I just keep it on hand for when I have the overwhelming urge to dye fabric. And here is where I'm at. I finished all of the first wizard and I'm doing the second one. And I had to like draw an arrow on my pattern to be like this way up, because it's like almost like a mandala where it's like, you know, it's a repeating pattern, same exact motif 4 times. And I was like gonna lose the directionality of my stitches. So I have the first one, and then the second will go in like 3rd and 4th, and then that'll be the top of the Biscornu. And then the bottom, that has like moon. Oh, can you see it? It has like a moon and some planets and stuff like that. That'll be the bottom. Like I said, I've never made one of these before, but I want to try. And then maybe I'll get obsessed with biscornues and make like 40 of them and have nowhere to put any of them. But I did need a pincushion of some sort, so got this cute wizard one. And there's like a lot that I like, but I don't want to buy a bunch of biscornu patterns if I find that I hate assembling them. So we'll see. I'll do all the back stitching last, just so that I've been stitching it in hand. So I'll stick it in a hoop when I have to back stitch it, and then that way the back stitching will like not be super messy. I don't like back stitching as I go. I know some people do, but I am such a like aggressive stitcher, like the way I like hold the fabric when I'm stitching in hand, that I just feel like I'm gonna ruin the back stitch and then I'm gonna have to pull it all out and redo it anyways. So yeah, he's a cute little wizard. So I have a little bit of haul, and I forgot to show you guys this from last time. These are my Bestitch Me clubs. I'm part of the Fabric Club, the colorful one, and then the Floss Club. So the first thing I got was the fabric, which is a 40 count even weave, and this is in the colorway Avocado. It is maybe a little, I think it's pretty true to color. This is such a great, I'm so glad to get like a green from them. I love the color green. I love like the blues and purples and stuff like that, but there was a lot. So I was glad to get something kind of different. And like, it's not, you know, being part of these like monthly clubs is not, I think it's like around, for my fabric and floss, because I get this and then I get the 2 hand-dyed silks from them. It's like 40 something a month, and you know, it's a mystery. So you kind of have to decide, like, does it financially make sense for you? I'm thinking I might cancel the silk portion for a little while just so that I can save some money to go for StitchCon and stuff like that. But I also got the 2 silks. Their silks are so pretty, but it's like, the problem is I get all these silks and then I have them and I'm like, they're so pretty, and then I don't use them for anything. So I need to find some more like monochromatic pieces that I can use some of these on, because these are a good amount. It's 25 yards of silk. The first one is Gaia, which is all these like blues and purples, kind of pastel-y. This would be cute on like a spring monochromatic piece. And then this one is kind of like, it's almost like a springy rainbow. This one's called Powerpuff. Oh, wait. It's literally the colors of the Powerpuff Girls. That's fun. Can you tell that I peeked in the bag and then just like threw it on my couch and was like, okay, I don't have time for this right now. But yeah, so the silks, the fabric. Oh, those look cute together. Actually, that blue on that green. Oh. But yeah, the 40 count, I've been really enjoying stitching on. I remember when I kind of started getting into stitching, I was like, oh, 18, I like 18 count because it's so petite and it's fun. And then I started hearing about like 40 count and 56 count, and I was like, you people are crazy. And then I finally got it took a lot of bravery for me to start trying out 40 count. I love it. I think that 36 count is kind of like my sweet spot, if you will. I just really like it as far as like the end result size. But if I can stitch something on like 40 count, it is pretty fun. So there's that. And then I did place an order to 123 Stitch. So this is haul, but it's also kind of plans, because I ordered some fabric and some beads and stuff, because what I want to talk to you guys about is the SAL that Britches Get Stitches and I are hosting. And that is the Candie Fancy Lady SAL. I don't know, I printed it out. I just wanted to. This is a free pattern, so this is accessible to everyone and anyone who has an internet connection. This is a plus size fancy lady, which is like the first of its kind that I've ever seen. I'm someone who is plus size, obviously. You have visual on me, so you know that. And I have always kind of like just not really been interested in fancy ladies. I remember the first time I tried to get in a floss tube, like all the floss tubes I saw were like women stitching fancy ladies, and I was just like, I'm just not into that. Like they're all these like super skinny kind of like fantasy themed women, and I'm not a big fantasy person to begin with. I love Lord of the Rings and stuff, but overall I don't get heavy into fantasy. But with this, make an exception because I have never seen a plus size fancy lady. So this was, the artwork is by Erin Culpepper, and it was charted by Whittier.Stitches, who I will have, you know, all this linked down below. It has, I believe you can get 3 different dress colors. There's this green one, there's a pink one, there's a blue one. I think maybe there's a yellow one. And I believe they said they're going to do a purple one at some point, but I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. But I know that my file came with green, blue, and pink. I'm going to do the green dress because I like the color green. And then there's a couple different skin tones as well. So you can really play around with this and make it your own. I mean, you can do that with anything, but like it's pre-charted for you to do all that. So the thing that I really liked about this fancy lady in particular was like, she's got big arms. I have big arms. And that's always been like, I'm not like insecure about being fat, but like that has been my one body insecurity is my arms. And so to see this fancy lady with her big arms out, I was like, all right, girl, let's do it. So Bridges Get Stitches actually mentioned in my comments, I think one of my last videos, she was like, do you want to sell this? And so I messaged her on Instagram and I was like, if you're serious, let's do it. So the details are, we are starting this on April 15th, but you can start and join in at any time. Our hashtags are either hashtag Curvy Candie SAL. I'll put them on the screen because if I'm saying them wrong, then at least the ones on the screen are the correct ones. But I believe it's Curvy Candie SAL. Or if you're not comfortable with using like the term curvy, because not everybody likes to describe themselves that way, we also have the hashtag Unique is Beautiful SAL, and that was Bridges Get Stitches. This was her idea, like to have the 2 hashtags, and I really like that because I hadn't even thought of that. You know, I thought that was a great idea. But you can use one, you can use both, whatever you want to do. And we're starting on April 15th, and it's just a very, you know, do it at your own pace kind of thing. So what I did was I got an excuse to make a 1, 2, 3 stitch order because I don't know. I like ordering from 1, 2, 3 Stitch. So I got this hand-dyed Lugana 28 count sapphire from Fiber on a Whim. And here is, oh my gosh, that color is stunning. I love sapphire. It's my birthstone. So the background of, let's see, this is a picture of this plus casual linen in the color Mystic. And they were like sold out of this on 1, 2, 3 Stitch at the time. Not that I was trying to get like the exact one. I was really just looking for a dark blue. But I saw this and I was like, that works. So I got that. And then this project also calls for some beads and Krynic. I've never used Krynic before. This is like a black Krynic. What is Krynic? I actually don't even know. I just bought it because it was like, it calls for this. And I was like, okay. It just feels like a kind of like special floss. So it's like a kind of shiny black floss and then 3 different beads, which I think, you know, it doesn't call for a bunch of different kinds of beads, and the beads are pretty inexpensive, like a couple bucks per pack, and it's more than enough beads to last you forever. You can put them on other stuff. So I bought everything all at once. Beading, I've done a couple Mill Hill kits that include beads. It was very easy to do, so if you've never beaded before, it's not intimidating. Don't worry about it. It's really, really easy. I think beading's fun. I think the beads are fun to play with. I don't know. That's weird, right? Hillary, shut up. But I just want to say thank you to Whittier Stitches for charting this up because it's like the first one I've ever seen. It's very, very unique, very interesting, and I'm excited to get it going. And I hope to see other people joining us as well. But yeah, so let me know down below if you guys are going to start this with us. And definitely tag either of us in your starts if you post it on Instagram or anything like that. I am lucky enough to have a doctor's appointment on the 15th. Lucky. I don't know if that's lucky, but I took a half day to accommodate that. So in the afternoon, after I get out of my doctor's appointment, I'm just going to come straight home, just start her up. So yeah, that's fun. Other plans are I need to catch up my year in stitches because I have it all charted. It's not like I'm not charting it, but I just haven't sat down and stitched the motifs. So that means I'm filming this on April 11th, which means I've got 11 motifs to stitch. And I haven't worked on my fair piece at all, which means I'm severely lacking because I need to get a page a month done to keep on pace. So I need to work on that. Maybe I'll work on that tonight. See, I told you I was going to say that about everything. And honestly, really, the thing that I want to work on right now, thinking about it, is probably that Judge Judy piece. So maybe I'll work on that. I haven't worked on my Pokemon one at all this month because it's not calling to me right now. I'm drawn to smaller projects right now. Every so often, like, my mood switches. I want to do a big project, and then I want to do big ones, and then suddenly I'm like, okay, I want to do little ones. And I think it's because after you work on just big projects for a really long time, you don't feel the satisfaction of like finishing something. And so I run out of steam. So I like to do big projects while I have the energy, and then when I'm like feeling kind of like, oh, I wish I could finish something, I'll swap to little projects. And I just want to get some of my whips done. I want to keep as many of my whips from hitting the 1 year mark as I can. So far I've been doing pretty good. The only ones so far that are over a year old are the Pokemon one. And then I think that, actually, let me look at my Notion. So I started the Pokemon one on January 1st of 2023. So that one has hit over a year. I expect that one to take me 2 to 3 years at this point because it's slow going. And then the next oldest whip is from June 20th, and that is Pavane, which that one will probably take a little over a year. And then after that is only Judy, which was a July 31st. And then everything else was started September or later. So I definitely can kill a lot of these whips before they hit the 1 year mark. So actually doing a lot better than I expected. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go do some work, and then I'm going to stitch for the rest of the night. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend if you watch this when I'm posting it. And I will see you guys later. Let me know again down below if you're going to join us for the Candie SAL. I'm really excited to see other people stitching this as well. And that's it from me. Bye.